So I'll share the screen. Yeah. So today is the fourth session. In the last session, you have learned about the classification of Rashis in different ways in which we can classify the Rashis. Some of you have asked for example charts, which I have prepared so that you can understand the concept in a better manner. See, this is a horoscope of a individual. Here, as you see, the Rashi charts contains 12 boxes, that is the 12 houses, and there are 9 planets in it. The first classification which I taught you, male and female or odd and even, this is an example chart for that classification. See, here Mesha is male, Gemini, Mithuna is male, Simha is male, then Tula, Dhanur, Kumbha, all are male Rashis. So every alternate Rashi, one is male and one is female. Just make a note of it. Planets in male Rashis, just write down the male Rashis over here. Make a table like this. Write down the female Rashis over here. In Mesha, you are having Sun. So just make a note of it. Sun in Mesha. Then Mithuna, you are having Jupiter. Write it down. Again, coming to Simha, you have Saturn. Just write it down. Then in Tula, there is no planet. You can write it as no planet. Dhanur, write it as Lagna. And then Kumbha, again, there's no planet. Coming to the female Rashis, all these are female Rashis. Vrishaba Rashi, there is Venus posted. Kataka Rashi, there is Mars posted. Kanya Rashi, there is Rahu posted. Vrishchika Rashi, there is Moon posted. Makara, there's no planet. In Meena, there are 2 planets, Mercury and Ketu. Like this, you had to make a table which shows male Rashis as well as female Rashis and make a note of the planets that are posted in different Rashis. So here, when you take account of the total number of planets, there are Sun, Jupiter and Saturn. Only 3 planets are in male Rashis. Then there are 6 planets, Venus, Mars, Rahu, Moon and Mercury, Ketu in female Rashis. So what is the idea that we get when we look at this table? There are 3 planets and Lagna are posted in male Rashi. 6 planets are posted in female Rashis. So this individual, this chart belongs to a male. So this person has 6 planets in female Rashis. So he'll have the characteristics that is pertaining to feminine Rashis, like he'll be very submissive, very calm, receptive, and accommodative. See, these classifications are a general way of understanding the nature of an individual. Similarly, there's another classification which I talked about, Chara, Sthira, and Duswabhava. Make a table like this. Take your own horoscope and make a table like this. Planets in Chara Rashi, planets in Sthira Rashi, planets in Duswabhava Rashi. So first write down which are the Chara Rashi. Mesha, Kataka, Tula and Makara are Chara Rashis. Vrishaba, Simha, Vrishchika and Kumbha, Sthira Rashis. Duswabhava are all the corner Rashis. That is Mithuna, Kanya, Dhanur and Meena. After writing this, in each of the Rashis, the planets which are posted, you make a note of it. See, in Mesha, Sun is posted, write it down. Next is Karkataka. There is Mars, write it down. Tula, there is no planet, and Makara, there is no planet. Again, when you come to Sthira Rashi, Vrishaba, you have Venus. Then Simha, you have Saturn. Vrishika, you have Moon. In Kumbha, there's no planet. Duswabha Rashis, Mithuna, you have Jupiter. Then Kanya, you have Rahu. In Dhanur, there's no planet. In Meena, there are two planets, Mercury and Ketu. So like this, you have to, for one single horoscope, if you take your own horoscope, take a notebook and in each page, write your chart and write this classification. Make a table and write this classification so that you'll get a better idea. So when you make a total of the planets in Chara Rashi, there are two planets. In Sthira Rashi, there are three planets. In Duswabhava Rashi, there are four planets and Lagna. So what is the analysis that you make out of this? This person belongs to Duswabhava nature. That means he's a person who is highly indecisive. He cannot take decisions properly because majority of the planets are posted in Duswabhava Rashi. And he is a person who is good in communication. He is a person who cannot take a decision by himself. He can do multitasking. He can adapt himself to different situations. Like this, you'll get an analysis. When you take one horoscope, make a chart like this and note down the point, note down the planets that are posted in each of the Rashis. Another example is of the tattvas. I told there are four tattvas. Based on four tattvas, we are classifying the chart: Agni, Prithvi, Vayu, and Jala. Take your horoscope, make a table like this: Agni Tattva, Prithvi Tattva, Vayu, and Jala. Note down which Rashis come under Agni Tattva, which Rashis come under Prithvi Tattva, which come under Vayu Tattva, and which come under Jala Tattva. And note down which are the planets that are posted in each of the Rashis. In this horoscope, there are two planets and Lagna posted in Agni Tattva Rashi, two planets in Prithvi Tattva Rashi, one planet in Vayu Tattva Rashi, and four planets in Jala Tattva Rashi. So, at a glance, you can tell what kind of a mentality the person has. Because four planets are in Jala Tattva Rashi, the person will be very emotional in nature. He'll have an emotional bonding with people, very sensitive, very caring. So he gives a lot of importance for emotions and feelings. This is how, for each of the classification, when you take one single horoscope, I have taught almost 10 classifications. So for each of the classifications, you can make a table like this and you can write your conclusion. Okay. So these were the classifications examples that I made so that you can understand this concept better. So as I told in the last class, these classifications are helpful in various ways. One is you can analyze a birth chart, and in Prashna, it can be made use like in Chora Prashna or Roga Prashna. These classifications will be used. And for fixing a Muhurta, for some auspicious events also, this classification will be used. And in mundane astrology, for studying different eclipses, where in which Rashi eclipse is occurring, and what is the result of that eclipse, all that can be seen. And mainly for remedies, whenever you have to give some remedies or pariharas, these classifications will help you. So this is about the classifications. Now coming to the next concept. Till now, you have understood that there are 12 Rashis. I hope you are familiar with the names of the Rashi, starting from Mesha, Vrishaba, Mithuna, Kataka, Simha, Kanya, Tula, Vrishchika, Dhanur, Makara, Kumbha, and Meena. These are the 12 Rashis. Now, just like how an house, if you're having a house, that house will also have an owner, right? Every house will have one owner. In the same way, there are 12 Rashis and each of the Rashi will have a owner. And these owners are the 9 planets. We can say the 9 planets own 12 houses, 12 Rashis. So they are the owners of these Rashis. So owners, we can tell that they are lords. We call them as lords of the Rashis. So each of the Rashi has got a lord. Lord means they are the owners of that Rashi. So there are 9 planets. Surya. First, let's understand the names of the planets. You might be familiar with it, but I'll just repeat it. Surya, also called as Ravi, in English, sun. Chandra is the moon. Mangala or Kuja is known as Mars. Buddha is Mercury. Guru is Jupiter. Shukra is Venus. Shani is Saturn. Rahu is known as the dragon head. Ketu is known as the dragon tail. Once I finish explaining the characteristics of each of the Rashis in detail, after I finish the Rashis, I'll be talking about each of the planets in detail. Means I'll be explaining their nature, their characteristics, what they represent, everything I'll be explaining in detail. So for now, just understand that these are the names of the grahas or planets, and each of the graha owns a house. That's why they're called as the lords of the Rashis. You must know this concept. Which planet owns which house? This is very important. See, we're all familiar with the solar system, right? Sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. This solar system, we are very familiar. Now, I'll just see the same thing has been represented. The zodiac has been represented over here. Who are the owners? Sun owns Simha Rashi. Moon owns Karkataka Rashi. So let me explain this in the form of a story so that you'll understand it better and you'll be able to remember it better. So formerly, in the beginning, see the two luminaries, Surya and Chandra. Luminaries means the planet which emits light. They're the ones who give us light, right? Sun and moon. So they're also called as the king and queen. Sun is called as the king and moon is called as the queen. In the zodiac, sun was the owner of 6 houses and moon was the owner of 6 houses. So that was what was there in the beginning. Then the other planets, they were feeling they don't have any houses at all. They were thinking what to do. We are homeless. We don't have any house at all. So Mercury, being the planet of intelligence, a very clever planet, what he does, he goes to Sun and he asks him, he pleads him, Surya Deva, I don't have a house. Please grant me a house. You are having so many houses. Please grant me one house. So Sun takes pity on him and he grants a house next to him. That is Kanya Rashi. He gives to Buddha. Now Buddha is not satisfied with one house. What he does? He goes to Chandra, who is the queen, and he tells her, please, you are so very dayalu, very kind-hearted. I am homeless. Can you please spare me a house? Can you please give me? So, moon being so very emotional and so very kind, what she does, she gives a house next to her. That is Mithuna Rashi. In that way, Buddha becomes the owner of 2 houses. See, Mithuna and Kanya, both are owned by Buddha. Seeing Mercury, what Shukra does, Shukra is a great friend of Buddha. He also does the same technique. He also follows the same technique. He goes to Surya and he asks for a house. Surya grants him Tula Rashi. He goes to Chandra and he asks, Chandra gives him Vrishaba Rashi. So Shukra becomes the owner of 2 houses. Buddha becomes the owner of 2 houses. Shukra becomes the owner of 2 houses. Kuja is not to be left behind. He also goes and asks both of them, Simha as well as, Surya as well as Chandra. And he also is granted 2 houses, Mesha and Vrishchika. Now the Deva Guru, Brihaspati, he is not to be left behind. He also approaches Surya and he is granted this Dhanur Rashi. He approaches Chandra and he is granted Meena Rashi. Now what happens? Only Shani is left. He also says, yeah, I'll also try my luck. And he goes to Surya and he asks for a house and he is given Makara. He goes to Chandra and he asks for a house. He is given Kumbha. In this way, Sun and Moon are left with only one house. Sun is left only with Simha Rashi. Chandra is left only with Karkataka Rashi. But all the remaining planets, Buddha becomes the owner of 2 houses. Shukra becomes the owner of Vrishaba and Tula. Kuja becomes the owner of Mesha and Vrishchika. Guru becomes the owner of Meena and Dhanur. Shani becomes the owner of Makara and Kumbha. This is a story so that it will help you to understand this concept better, for you to remember the lordship easily. Now, how do you correlate it with the solar system? This is also one of the ways for you to remember which planet owns which house. See, taking from Sun, which is the planet next to Sun, we are seeing Mercury. So Mercury is the planet that is given a house next to Sun on both sides. Then comes Venus. So Venus owns Tula as well as Vrishaba. Earth, since we are seeing from Earth, Earth will not be given a house. Next comes Mars. Mars is having 2 houses. Then comes Jupiter, having 2 houses. The last planet, Saturn, again 2 houses. So this is an easy way to remember. I'm teaching you different ways to remember the ownership of the Rashis. This is very important, everybody should know which planet owns which house. That's why I'm explaining this with different examples. So either way you can remember. Now see, there's a simple way of remembering the Rashis in your fingertips also you can remember. With your fingers also you can remember. See, starting from, if you don't have a pen and paper to write down the Rashi Chakra, just using your fingers, you can create a Rashi Chakra in your hand itself. How? Take this as Mesha, Vrishaba, Mithuna. Now this finger you divide in 2. One is Kataka, one is Simha. Then Kanya, Tula, Vrishchika, Dhanur. Then this is Makara, Kumbha and Meena. Just, sometimes even if you're not having any pen or something to write down paper, you can just, in your hand itself, you can calculate the Rashi Chakra. One of the easiest ways to remember. Now there is one more important concept, basic concept, which you should understand. That is called as Lagna. Now what is a Lagna? The earth is in spherical shape. In the previous session, you have understood that there is something known as celestial sphere, and there's something known as ecliptic, and around the ecliptic, above 9 degrees and below 9 degrees is the zodiac belt. So basically, the zodiac belt is around the earth in a circular shape. The same thing is written as a box, that is the horoscope. Our earth keeps on rotating, right? It is rotating as well as revolving. Because of this rotation, every 2 hours, you find that a different Rashi is rising in the eastern horizon. Just like how in the mornings you see the sun rising in the east, in the same way, as the earth is rotating and as the zodiac is around the earth, due to the rotation of the earth, the zodiac is fixed, but the earth is rotating. Since the earth is rotating, you feel that there is a sign which is rising in the eastern horizon. So the Rashi which rises in the east at that time of your birth is known as Janma Lagna. These 2 things are important: Janma Rashi, Janma Lagna. Wherever in your horoscope moon is posited, that is your Janma Rashi. That I think almost all of you have already identified your Janma Rashi. Now you also have to find out your Janma Lagna. So it is calculated based on the time of your birth, place of your birth. There is some Rashi which is rising at the eastern horizon. That becomes your Janma Lagna. So the rising sign is your Janma Lagna. There is a difference between Janma Rashi and Janma Lagna. Janma Rashi shows your mentality. What is your mentality? How do you think? How do you process things? So basic mentality of an individual is known by Janma Rashi. Whereas Janma Lagna shows your physical personality. Physical personality means your physical body, whether you're fat, thin, tall, short, dark, fair, all that you can analyze by understanding the Janma Lagna. Your personality, what kind of a personality you have, whether you are a extrovert person or whether you are an introvert person, whether you are a friendly individual, all that you can make out by looking at the Janma Lagna. And how people see you. What is the kind of feeling people have towards you when they look at you? That can be known by the Janma Lagna. It's like the starting point of your horoscope. It's like the engine of your horoscope. That's what we can say. So Janma Lagna is the beginning or starting point of your entire horoscope. Now, I said the sign that rises in the east at the time of your birth is Janma Lagna. What is the duration of each Lagna? So once a sign rises, it stays for 2 hours. How is that? Because in a day there are 24 hours. And how many Rashis are there? There are 12 Rashis. So when you divide 24 by 12, you get it as 2 hours. So each Lagna duration is for 2 hours. See, how do you identify Janma Lagna? If you open a horoscope, if you feed your details in in a mobile or in a software, in every horoscope, Lagna will be indicated. See, these 2 lines over here, this is the indication of Lagna. This means this is the Lagna. In this horoscope, this person belongs to Simha Lagna. And moon is in Tula Rashi. So Janma Rashi is Tula. Janma Lagna is Simha. So you have to search for these 2 lines. Wherever the 2 lines are in the horoscope, that is the Janma Lagna. In some of the horoscopes, they would have written these 2 lines, or they would have written it as Lagna itself, or they would have written it as ascendant. So ascendant is the English term for it. So anyway, they would have mentioned that this Rashi is the Janma Lagna. So please look at your own horoscopes. You will find out which is your Janma Lagna. You identify it. You identify your Janma Rashi also. So Lagna basically talks about the physical characteristics of a person, whereas Rashi talks about a mental characteristics of an individual. Okay. Now that is about Lagna Rashi. Now we are coming to a very, very interesting part. I think this thing is very interesting for all of you, because here I'll be explaining about the characteristics of each and every Rashi. And every Rashi has got some unique characteristics, which are very interesting to know. In your family itself, there will be people belonging to different Rashis. When you correlate what I'm telling to their mentality, you will see how many points match up. If you have identified your own Janma Rashi, when I tell about the characteristics, you can correlate and see if they're matching or not. So in the zodiac, there are 12 Rashis. So each of the Rashi characteristics we will study in detail. So which is the first Rashi? We always start with Mesha Rashi. So let's understand the characteristics of Mesha Rashi. Now, Mesha is the first sign of the zodiac. So what does it mean? It carries the energies of beginnings. That is where the new beginnings happen. It's like raw life force. We can say it's like the first spark that starts events. And this Rashi is so very energetic. It's full of energy. And the person who belongs to this Rashi, they always are action oriented. And Mesha Rashi is a Chara Rashi. If you remember the classification which I had taught earlier, it's a Chara Rashi. Chara means what? They're always action oriented. So this Rashi people, they always want to start something new. They cannot sit idle. They cannot sit quiet for even a few minutes. They always want to be doing something or the other. Very adventurous kind of people, very brave, not scared of failure. That's why they're always ready to start new ventures, because they're not scared of failure at all. Very impulsive kind of nature. And they're also impatient. They do not have that much of patience, because things have to happen fast for them. They cannot take things slowly. They're very quick paced, highly independent nature. They have a highly independent nature, but at the same time, they have the capacity to think out of the box, something innovative. They don't go by the usual routine. They have the capacity to think something new, and they don't like to work within boundaries. That's why they don't like to work under somebody. They like their freedom. They always like to start something new. They like their freedom. They're very confident, active. They can become restless very easily. They cannot sit without doing anything. And they have that courage and bravery to overcome all obstacles. One thing about Mesha Rashi people is they're very straightforward. They don't beat around the bush. What they feel like, they'll just tell on your face, very straightforward. And if you observe their voice, they got a kind of the voice will not be that very sweet. It'll be kind of rough kind of voice they'll be having. So they talk without any kind of manipulations. Very impulsive kind of people. Basically, the energy is so much, they had to keep on doing something or the other. That's why it is very important to channelize the energy of the Mesha Rashi person. If you see a small child who belongs to Mesha Rashi, they'll be very highly energetic. But if you are able to channelize that energy in some right manner, they'll become very productive. You have to see that. And their nature is like small children. Mesh Rashi people always very curious, and they want to know about things, but their reaction is instantaneous. They are very impulsive. They don't have the patience to listen. You tell them something and they'll react immediately, even without thinking. They'll react, and after that they'll think. So the thing they should be careful is Mesh Rashi people, whenever they talk, they should learn. I mean, they should know when to talk, when to be quiet, and how to talk diplomatically. All that they'll have to learn. And Mesha Rashi has got a lot of potential to start new things. It's like, you draw a line. See that line, once you draw that line has got so much of potential. You can draw a tree, you can draw a house, you can draw a mountain, you can draw anything from that line. So that line has a immense potential. So that is the potential of Mesha Rashi. They can do anything. So children who belong to Mesha Rashi, if you're having a child who belongs to Mesha Rashi, you have to understand that they choose their own path and they work in their own way. You cannot dictate, or you cannot tell them to do this, do that. You cannot tell them. You cannot say that you have to follow what I'm telling, because they'll not follow. They'll choose their own path. And if you give them a work, they'll do it in their own style. That's why they don't like to work under anybody. They want to do things independently. And Mesha Rashi, if you remember the classification of the organs of Kala Purusha, Mesha Rashi represented the head of Kala Purusha. So since it represents the head, these people like to lead. They are good leaders. They love to lead. And whatever they do with their interest, they reach great heights. They don't like to do any kind of routine work. Usually, if routine work is there, you ask them to do it, they'll find it very boring. And if you see the symbol of Mesha Rashi, it is the ram. What is the first thing that you get your mind when you see a ram? The skull is very heavy, and the ram, that's a male goat, it's always ready to fight. but it can barge into things. What does it mean? These people have got a lot of energy. They have the courage to overcome obstacles in their life, and they'll be ready to fight. If you, like, if you irritate them, or if you provoke them, they'll be ready to fight. So bold. Only thing is, you have to channelize the energy in a proper manner, or else the person will start becoming frustrated. They always are very impulsive. If they want something, they want it. And if you give them a choice, if you give them a choice in life, like, do you want knowledge or do you want experience, they will choose experience rather than book learning. Practical kind of experience, that is what interests them. And with age, they'll get the knowledge also. If you see their build, they're fair, medium height, strong, but not bulky. And the negative things that they experience in their life is, they usually tend to get headaches, migraines, cuts, broken bones, and care should be taken about the head. They should always protect their head. But in a general way, the health is very good. That is about Mesha Rashi. Coming to the next Rashi, which is the Vrishaba Rashi. Now, as soon as you see the symbol, there is something which you will understand about Vrishaba Rashi. See, it's a bull. So, what is the quality of a bull? Physically very strong, and it has the capacity, immense capacity to do a lot of hard work. It is used in plowing, right? It is used in plowing. It is used for pulling heavy loads. So, bull has got a lot of strength, physical strength, and it has the capacity to do a lot of hard work also. They can work for a very long time. So, same goes with the Vrishaba Rashi people. They are very strong physically, and they can work for very long times. And for example, even if you tell them some difficult kind of exercises, they can do it very easily. Physical exercises, so physical work they prefer. And I mean, physically they can do any kind of work. Usually they don't like activity, but if they start doing it, they'll do it very well. Have you seen a bull? You have to prod it a bit. Only then it will start moving. In the same way, if these people are probed, then once they start doing the work, they'll do the work in a very nice manner. Usually these people, they prefer to sit at home, do the work at home, or they just like to watch TV, relax. They are family kind of people. They like to just relax and stay at home. And they like lot of luxuries. By nature, they are reserved. They do the work slowly, but still they will complete the work given to them, and they'll do it well. And if you take the male individual who belongs to Vrishaba Rashi, he'll be a complete family man. But the one thing is, these people, they like to collect materials, whether it is physical materials or whether it is emotional things. They accumulate. They have the tendency of accumulating things. So because of accumulated emotions, there might be some thyroid issues, or metabolic rate will be very less. That also can happen. They have the tendency of emotionally holding on to things. They have to learn to forget their past and move on. These people are very calm, practical natured. They do their own work. They mind their own business. But if you irritate them, they become very aggressive. Have you seen a bull? It does its own work. But if you irritate the bull, it will attack you. And it will be very ferocious when it attacks. In the same way, Vrishaba Rashi person also, they'll be very calm natured, peaceful. They mind their own business. But if you irritate them, then it's very difficult. They become very aggressive. And whatever work they're doing, they're very satisfied, calm. Whatever things they have, they try to preserve it carefully and try to improve on the things that they have. It's like they are nurturers or providers, we can see. They feel very happy only when they are of some use to others. So they do not like to disturb others, very friendly natured person. And since it represents the face of the Kala Purusha, if you see in the classification of the Kala Purusha organs, Vrishaba Rashi represents the face of the Kala Purusha. So these people have a very charming face, and they love to take very good care of their face. More than the body, they'll take very good care of their face. They have a round face, they look beautiful. But one tendency is they are lazy. They want to relax and enjoy life. Because of this, they have more than the physical work, they like to just relax. So they have a tendency to put on weight. And if you take their nature in relationships, they are very insecure and fear. It's the partner who has to help them to come out of these insecurities. Then they can have a good relationship. They have a lot of patience, good communication. See, in case they tell you something and you don't understand, they'll try to put it in a different way. So they have that kind of skill of communicating in a practical manner. So since it is a sthira Rashi, they are very practical. They're practical as well as reliable. You can depend on them. They'll take on responsibility. And they have the perseverance. If you give them some work, they'll complete it. Even though they do it slowly, we can be assured that the work will be done. It's like, if there are two children, one belonging to Mesha Rashi and one belonging to Vrishaba Rashi, they are on a beach. Imagine they are on a beach. The Mesha Rashi person will said, I'll make a sand castle. That will be his idea. He'll start building the sand castle. The Vrishaba Rashi person, he'll go along and he'll also start building. After a few minutes, the Mesha Rashi person will get bored and he'll go and play with the water, or he'll just go for a run or something. But the Vrishaba Rashi person, he'll complete that sand castle. The idea will be Mesha Rashi person. But the completion will happen by the Vrishaba Rashi person. So you can depend on them. Very strong. They talk less, little reserved, but they got a great appreciation of art. They like art. They like music, and they like all kinds of luxuries and comfort. And they have got the capacity to take in lot of work. Means sometimes they feel that the work is too much, but still they'll not complain. They'll continue to do their work. They'll not complain it. They'll try to solve their own problems. And in career, if you see Vrishaba Rashi person, they'll try to impress their boss. So for the sake of impressing their boss, they will work more than required. So that is what is about Vrishaba Rashi or Taurus. And if you have married a person who belongs to Vrishaba Rashi, you'll be very happy because they'll be very much committed, very much dependable. So, see, these characteristics, why I explain is, you will be able to understand the nature of an individual in detail. You have your family members, each member belongs to a different Rashi, and many a time you'll be wondering why this individual is behaving in this manner. Not everyone behaves in the same manner. You'll always be wondering why this person is behaving in this manner. So when you understand the characteristics of the Rashis, it will be easy for you to understand their nature. At the same time, if you're having children at home, you'll be able to guide them in a better manner. See, for example, if the child belongs to Mesha Rashi, you should know that they are very energetic. And if you don't channelize their energy, or you don't keep them occupied, they become impatient. They become, restless, frustrated. So you have to see that you have to keep them engaged. You have to give them some work. You have to channelize their energy so that their energy is drained off and they become a bit calm. And if it's a Vrishaba Rashi individual child that you're having at home, as a child, the child, observes everything that is happening in the surroundings. You have to be careful if you have a Vrishaba Rashi individual in your house, child in your house, because it observes everything and learns from the surroundings. And once by that impact, some kind of idea is formed in its mind, you cannot change it, because this is a Sthira Rashi. Sthira Rashi as well as Prithvi Tattva Rashi. So the strongest Sthira is Vrishava Rashi, because Prithvi Tattva is also, it's like stubborn, and Sthira Rashi also means it's stubborn. So once an idea is formed in the mind of the child, that cannot be changed. That's why whatever you tell to a child who belongs to Vrishaba Rashi, you should think and tell, because that will make a huge impact, and you cannot change what idea has already formed in the mind of the individual, of the child. So that is about Vrishaba Rashi. Coming to the third Rashi. So these are the key points that I have written. Stability, they are very focused, then practical, they have a lot of patience, nourishment, they nourish others. That means they take care of their family, they take care of their friends, they take care of their surroundings. So that quality is inbuilt in them, nourishment. Charming personality they have got, good responsibility, they're satisfied and happy, with whatever they have, they are satisfied. And these people don't like change. If you see a Mesha Rashi, they like change, they don't like routine works. Whereas if it comes to Vrishaba Rashi individual, they don't like change. They like to do something which is routine, routine kind of work they like. At the same time, they're very stubborn. The next Rashi is Mithuna Rashi. See, each of the Rashi has a symbol. And when you look at the symbol itself gives you a great idea about the characteristic of the Rashi. Okay, that's why the symbols are there. If you see a Mithuna Rashi individual, they're very good in communication. They have got a great talent for communication, very intelligent individuals, because this is also ruled by Mercury, the planet of intelligence. So they're very intelligent, good in communication, artistic in nature, and their oration skills are very good. They can become very good writers, orators, and they have got the knack of multitasking. So it's like you give 2 or 3 works, they'll be doing at the same time. They'll be studying, they'll be listening to music, they'll be doing something else. All 2 to 3 activities they can do at the same time. That means they're very good at multitasking. But for Vrishaba Rashi individual, that's not so. If you give them some work, they'll just finish that work and then they'll go to the next work. They'll not do multitasking. Whereas Mithuna Rashi people, they are very good at multitasking, very adaptable, flexible, it's a Dvisvabhava Rashi. So they have that flexible nature. They can adapt to different situations, and very witty, humorous, we can say. They like to make jokes. They like to, crack jokes and have a happy kind of atmosphere around them. Very humorous in nature. Childlike personality, we can see. Again, because Mercury is a prince or a planet which is a child. So that's why Gemini has the same kind of nature. They have got a childlike personality. Basically, if something interests them, they'll do it. Otherwise, if they're not enjoying that, or if it isn't catching their interest, they will immediately stop doing it. They'll lose. I mean, they'll not be interested even when you're talking to them. If you're talking about some topic which will help them or which is of their interest, they'll listen. Otherwise, they'll just stop listening also. Here, the symbol is that of a man and a woman. Man is holding a mace and woman is holding a musical instrument. That is a symbol of Mithuna Rashi. So this represents creativity, skills, talent, and They are very good in flirting also, you can say, because it's a man and woman. So very good in flirting. Since it's a Dvisvabhava Rashi, they're not able to take decisions very quickly, fickle-minded. They're always, they'll always be thinking whether to go this way or that way, very fickle-minded. And commitment wise, if you see, they're not that very committed. If it is a Vrishaba Rashi individual, they're very much committed. Whereas Mithuna Rashi, they've got a charming personality. They can attract you, very intelligent, very good in communication, good orators. They have that charisma. But the thing is, they are very less committed. It's like, and work also, they're so very talented that they cannot stick to doing one work for a very long time. They want variety. They want to do different things. And they always need a guide who tells them what to do, because they cannot take a decision on their own. They get bored very easily. Very playful nature they have. They are never serious. If you take some of the Rashis are very serious, but when it comes to Mithun Rashi, they are never serious. Very playful they are. And whatever work you give them, they'll do it very quickly. Very sharp there. It's like, even if they're studying, you would have seen some children, the whole year they would be playing. Just one day before the exam or just 2 days before the exams, they'll open their books, they'll study, but they'll get good marks. At least they'll pass. It's just that they have that much of intelligence to know which topics are important to study, which are not. That means basically their nature is such. They do smart work more than hard work. They are smart workers, we can say. And when it comes to career also, they'll always be searching for a job where from the job they must be able to learn something, just not earning. It should be like something which helps them to learn. That is what keeps their interest. If they're not able to learn anything from that job immediately, they'll resign from their job and they'll start searching for something else. And if you see the body part of Kala Purusha, this is the neck region and the arms. Neck, how does it help us? Neck means we can turn our head. So neck helps in turning. So without the neck, the head cannot turn. So Gemini people are always looking for different options. Even if when they are settled in a job, they are looking for different options. If they'll always be in search of something better. Even when they're married, they'll be searching for something better. That's their nature. For everything, they'll be seeing for better options. That is the nature of people who are born in Gemini. So here, this is a Vayu Tattva Rashi. So they are very intelligent. They love to talk, very talkative individuals. They love to talk. They love to share their ideas. They like to learn. They like to teach. And, they're always curious. They'll be asking the why of things, the reasoning. Quick learners. Whatever you teach them, the grasping is very fast. Quick learners. They're interested in many subjects, just not one. They're interested in many subjects. Very adaptable. They can adjust to situations very easily. And, they're extrovert. They can talk to anyone. They can make friends quickly. When it comes to Vrishaba Rashi, they're introverts. I mean, they're not that very comfortable, to go out and make friends. They're happy with what they have. I mean, with their circle. But Mithuna Rashi people are extroverts. They love to go and make friends. And they're also very humorous. They like fun, social interactions, good communication skills, intelligence, very good networking ability they have. They can make friends easily. But again, they're very restless. See, when you're so very intelligent, when you want to learn so many things, the thing is, restlessness is one of the qualities that it will lead to. Mind is always active. They can get bored easily. Since they have too many options, too much of knowledge, too many options, that leads to indecisiveness. They cannot take decisions easily. And once they have chosen something, fickle-minded, they'll always be thinking whether this path is right or I should have chosen some other path. And, that knowledge that they have knowledge about so many topics, but the knowledge will be kind of superficial. They'll not go into the depth of the topic, but they'll have a knowledge of varied topics. And here, their nature is more logical rather than emotional. They're more into logical kind of people. So they express their feelings with words, not through actions, not that deep kind of emotional bonding. And fast, analytical, curious, always they're processing information. They're always collecting information. That processing keeps on happening in their mind. They love discussions, they love debates, then good orators. See, if you see the body part of Kala Purusha, it is the neck and also the arms. So, hands. So, they're very good in writing, typing, multi skilled, then strong communication skills. So, basically, they love to gather information, they love to share their knowledge, they like to have a good networking with people. That is the nature of Mithuna Rashi people. The fourth Rashi in the Rashi Chakra is Karkataka Rashi. This is a watery sign. So when you talk about watery signs, the first thing that comes to your mind is emotional. So after we have learned about the three Rashis, the curious, outward moving Mithuna Rashi, we come to Karkataka Rashi. This is a Rashi where the energy is inwards. Inwards means they give more importance to emotions, feelings, nurturing, home. All those things are very much important for a person who is born in Karkataka Rashi. So here they are more sensitive, and the element, as I said, is water. And the planet which rules Karkataka Rashi is Moon. Moon is also about emotions, mind, emotions. So again, Moon is also about emotions. The Rashi nature element is also water, which is about emotions. And if you're taking the symbol is that of a crab. See, when you look at a crab, it's got a hard outer shell, but inside it is very soft. That is the nature of these people. Outside they look very hard, but inside they're very, very emotional and soft, very strong emotions. They are. Please don't make any marks on the screen. Somebody is, yeah, it's been removed. Thank you. So very homely kind of peace loving people they are. They look stern. As I told you, just like how a crab looks hard on the outside, they look very stern on the outside, but they have got a very soft nature. These people love traveling, and they have got lot of mental strength. Mentally, they have got lot of strength. Just like how Mesha Rashi, they're physically action oriented, Vrishaba Rashi is physically strong, Karkataka Rashi is mentally strong. Round face, fair complexion, but one thing is mood changes. Just like how moon has different phases, it grows in size, it decreases in size. In the same way, the people who belong to Karkataka Rashi, they'll have a lot of mood swings. Sometimes they'll be very happy, sometimes they'll be very sad. So they'll have a lot of mood changes. And just like how water has depth, their emotions are also very deep. They can get distracted very easily. And if you see their physical body, it will be very feminine. Even men who belong to Karkataka Rashi, if you look at them, they look very feminine. They'll not have that manly kind of look. They look very feminine. But if you belong to Mesha Rashi, you look very masculine, rugged, tough. Coming to Karkataka Rashi, the person looks very feminine. over emotional. And these people, when you give them some work, they do it very slowly. They take their own sweet time to do the work. They'll sit down comfortably. They take their own sweet time and they'll do the work. You cannot rush them to do things quickly. For example, even if you ask them to cut vegetables, they'll cut it slowly with precision. That is very important for them. And even their movement, they love to walk slowly. They enjoy the breeze. They take their own time. Whatever work you give them, they'll take their own time. And very sattvic natured, tender, emotional. And in childhood, if you see a child who belongs to Karkataka Rashi, especially in childhood, they would love to be around their mothers. They will not leave their mothers at all. They'll always tag along with them. They want their mother all the time. And presence of mother is very important for them in their childhood. And when they grow up also, they need that emotional support. Uh, when they grow up, you can say that they become the replicas of their mother. It might be the style in which they cook, the way they react, or the way they dress up, it will be more like their mothers. That is, so they are very much influenced by the mothers. And they have a deep attachment to their house. If the environment in which they are placed, if they are comfortable, I mean, if it's a familiar environment, they'll be comfortable. And for them, family is a very important priority. They give a lot of importance to family. They're natural caregivers. They love taking care of their family. They love taking care of their friends. They got a kind of a motherly instinct, strong motherly instinct, because see, they are very emotional, very soft. So that motherly instinct is very, mm, very natural to them. And we can say they have got a soft heart, whereas a hard shell outside. They protect themselves and their loved ones. And these people have got one special capacity, um, they can very easily sense the emotions of the other individual, because they are very sensitive and emotional. They can very easily, they've got that kind of intuition, they can sense the emotions of the other individuals. Because of this, they can give a supportive hand, they can become very good counselors. Loyalty, caring nature, strong intuition, all this will be there. But the challenges in Karkataka Rashi is basically mood swings. Their, their emotions keep on fluctuating like tides. In an ocean, you see the tides, in the same way, their emotions also keep on fluctuating. Oversensitive they are. They can get hurt very easily. Take things personally. If you tell them something, they take it very personally. And because of that, they can get hurt very easily. It is like they have got attachment to people around them, to their loved ones. It becomes very difficult for them to let go of the past or the people. Sometimes because of this, they become emotionally dependent on others. And thinking style is, even if the decision will be emotion based, whereas the decision of a Mithuna Rashi person will be based on logics, whereas a Karkataka Rashi will take decisions based on emotions. So that is the foundation for them. Emotions are the foundation. So Karkataka Rashi, if you see the body part of Kala Purusha, it rules the chest and the heart region. That's why the emotional sensitivity is very high. They got a strong connection to feelings and nurturing. Uh, so we can say they are calm on the surface sometimes, but there are powerful emotions within them. So this is about them. Psychic in nature, they are very intuitive. They have got a strong intuition. All the water rashis, element water rashis, they have got strong intuition. That is about Karkataka Rashi. So the next Rashi is Simha Rashi. Simha Rashi, what are the key characteristics of Simha Rashi? Remember the classification? Simha Rashi is Agni Tattva Rashi, Sthira Rashi. Just based on those two classifications, you can tell the characteristics of a Simha Rashi person. Agni Tattva means they are very energetic. Leadership qualities are there, very energetic, action-oriented Rashi. Sthira Rashi means they can be very stubborn, they don't like changes. They're practical. And the energy that a Simha Rashi person has, it is shown as confidence. That is how it is expressed. So this is a Rashi which comes after the emotional depth of Karkataka Rashi, Simha Rashi. So this Rashi shows the energy of confidence, royalty. If Cancer, that is Karkataka Rashi, is like a river which has got lot of depth in it with emotions, Simha Rashi has royalty. It radiates power. It radiates energy. So Sun is the planet which rules Simha Rashi. So Sun is also a fiery planet. So Sun is not a calm planet, Moon rules Karkataka Rashi. Moon, if you see, it's a very calm planet. It is very soothing. Whereas Sun, you cannot look at the burning sun. I mean, when the sun is midday sun, it is impossible to look at the sun. It is full of heat and, fire, we can say. So this is a Rashi which is ruled by Sun. So the characteristics of the Sun will also be felt in this Rashi. And the symbol, if you see, it is the lion. Lion again indicates, lion is the king of the jungle. So what does it mean? It's a Rashi which indicates leadership, authority, power, confidence, at the same time, ego. These people are natural leaders, we can say. Simha Rashi people are born to lead. They're natural leaders. There's no doubt about it. Because the symbol as it, the planet that rules also is Sun, who is the king of the solar system. And the symbol is also lion, which is the king of the jungle. So they're born to rule. We can say they're natural leaders. They like to lead. They have a commanding personality, and they stand in the spotlight. Wherever they go, they attract attention. You have to understand, it is not their intention to attract attention, but wherever, when they walk into a room, everybody's attention turns towards them. See, if a king walks into a room, what happens? Everybody will turn towards the king. Naturally, he draws the attention. In the same way, whenever a person who belongs into a Simha Rashi, he walks into a room, he attracts the attention of every individual. And since it's an Agni Rashi, Agni means it is creation. So we spoke about Mesha Rashi, which is also a Agni Rashi, a creative Rashi. Agni means it is creation. For every creativity, Agni should be there. So it's a Rashi which talks about creation, but here the creation is finer things. There it was the beginning. So it's like the energy was like the hatching of an egg. But here it is much more finer. It is much more royal, we can say. Here, Simha Rashi people are very competitive in nature. And one thing you had to remember, if you want to win the heart of a person who belongs to in Simha Rashi, you have to praise them. Have you seen a king? They have people, who are there just specifically to praise the king. As soon as he walks in, the people are there. There are some people who are appointed just to sing praises of the king. So, in the same way, Simha Rashi people, they love to be praised. So, if you want some favor from a Simha Rashi person, or you want to win their heart, you should learn to praise them. And these people have the capacity to achieve something in life which no one has achieved. So, they set up their own benchmarks. They have that much of capacity. They want to achieve something very great in life, and they do achieve it. It is a Sattvic Rashi. So, these people, they come up in their life not by trampling others. They just don't trample others, but by their own qualities, abilities, they come up in their life. And have you seen a king? Can you just go and approach a king? Is he approachable? For that matter, sun. Can we even go near the sun? Can we even look at the sun? It is so difficult. So these people are not that easily approachable. They are proud, egoistic. They'll not come and talk to you. You have to go and talk to a Simha Rashi person. Just observe the people. If you are in a gathering, see, that is how you learn better. That is how you practically use astrology. If you are in a room full of people, just observe the people. Each person will have their own special behavior. If you link it with this Rashi characteristics, you can very easily correlate why that person is behaving in such a manner. There'll be some individuals, they'll just sit in one corner or they'll sit in some place and they'll not go and approach people. It is the others who go and approach them. That person will be a Simha Rashi person. If it is a Mithuna Rashi person, they're so very extrovert, they don't feel any kind of ego, they'll just go and talk, make friends. They'll just go and talk to anybody. But a Simha Rashi person is not like that. If you go and approach them, then they will talk. They themselves will not come and approach you. And these people, they have got, though they're very capable, uh, they have got one quality, they can get into bad habits very easily. So they should be very careful about the kind of company they keep around them. And generally, these people are leaders. They do not like to follow anybody. They are just interested in leading, creating new benchmarks. But they have got a very noble heart. Very, they got high standards, we can say. They don't like to involve themselves in small matters. And they have a genuine feeling, or we can say they have a genuine intention of helping other individuals. If somebody is in trouble, they'll be ready to help them. Even if that individual doesn't ask, they'll readily volunteer to help them. So many a times this nature, it makes others feel that they are very intruding, but that's not so. They genuinely like to help people, very generous in nature. If you see the sun, what is it? See, you feel that it is so generous. It doesn't hold on to its light and energy. It gives it to the whole earth. In the same way, these people are very generous natured, open hearted, ready to help people. At the same time, they're very commanding, authoritative, very aggressive also, good in administration, dominating, competitive, and they have got lot of self-respect. They do not bow down to anybody. Have you seen a king bowing down to anybody? No, they do not bow down to anybody. If you see these people, in usually Simha Rashi person, they'll be sitting by themselves. They'll be cross-legged. They'll be sitting one leg on the other. They'll be sitting like that. The way they're sitting, you can just make out that they're Simha Rashi person. Very the kind of stature, the way they carry themselves itself, you can make out that the individual belongs to Simha Rashi. They'll have broad shoulders, a slim waist, just like how the lion, they have a slim waist. Their bodies are very strong. And these people, they give a lot of importance to their hair. Have you seen a lion? It always shakes its head, It has a beautiful mane around its head. It has a beautiful mane. In the same way, these people also, when they walk, they have a tendency of tossing their head so that their hair moves. And they give a lot of importance to their hair. But many a times, men tend to become bald. People belonging to Simha Rashi, they tend to become bald. They have broad faces, light colored eyes, then thick hair, broad forehead. All this is the physical characteristics of the Simha Rashi person. Proud, egoistic, they have a lot of self-respect. If in some situation, they feel that to whomever they're speaking, if that individual is not listening to them, they'll feel very hurt. If they're not given respect, they'll feel very hurt. Smallest of things can hurt them. They got that kind of egos, smallest of things can hurt them. They have got very big dreams, and they also have the capacity to achieve these dreams. And wherever they go, the people are attracted to them. They they draw that attention, it is not intentional, but they draw that attention. That is the nature. And very confident, charismatic, magnetic personality, we can say. People can instantly feel their presence. If they're in a room, they can feel their presence. They like respect and they also like recognition. And the way they carry themselves, they carry themselves with lot of pride, just like how a king walks. Yeah, that person might be a servant, or that might be a peon, or he might be working under somebody, but you must see how they'll be walking. They work like a king. That is the way they carry themselves. And they help others without expecting much. They love to uplift people. So a strong inclination towards leadership, public visibility. And challenges is ego sensitivity. They needs appreciation, can feel hurt if they are ignored or disrespected. They like to take control of situation, and they'll not take orders. They don't like to take orders. If you have a servant who belongs to Simha Rashi, you will understand they'll never take your order. They do what they want. And if they have done some mistake, they'll not admit it. And but they got a warm nature, very loyal, very protective about their family and friends. They're very passionate, then strong personality, very good in taking decisions. And it's like, they inspire others, but wherever they go, they take the center stage. They lead you with lot of confidence. So we can say Simha Rashi is like the sun, bright and powerful. Just like how the sun is bright and powerful, in the same way Simha Rashi is bright and powerful. Sun gives light to others. In the same way, Simha Rashi people also, they're always ready to help other individuals. And naturally, they'll take the central stage. So they shine with confidence, lead with their heart, and they're always a kind of inspiration to others. That is about Simha Rashi. So we have spoken about 5 Rashis, and each of the Rashis will give a different personality, or we can say a different nature. So when you understand this and correlate with the people whom you know, you can understand their nature very well. Coming to the next Rashi, it is Kanya Rashi or Virgo Rashi. After understanding the nature of the bold, expressive Simha Rashi, here we are coming to a Rashi which is very analytical in nature, very practical in nature, and who loves perfection. Kanya Rashi is a Rashi which just loves perfection. If Simha Rashi is like the sun which loves to shine, Kanya Rashi is like the hands that likes to organize everything to perfection. They like to have perfection in everything. That is their nature. So tattva of this Rashi is Arthi tattva. Arthi means that itself you can understand they are very practical. And the planet which rules Kanya Rashi is Mercury. Mercury is the planet of intelligence. So they are very intelligent. And it is again a dual Rashi. So two Rashis, dual Rashis are owned by Mercury. One is Mithuna Rashi, one is Kanya Rashi. So both Rashis are very intelligent. But the intelligence is different, the intelligence of Mithuna Rashi is there, like they're extroverts. They like to connect with people. Here, they use their intelligence for organizing, for perfection, for analysis, and they give a lot of importance to small details. Also, they give a lot of importance. Here, if you see the symbol, it's that of a maiden, a girl. So that indicates refinement, purity, service oriented. And these people, they have a very high standards for themselves. They set a very high standards for themselves as well as for people who are working along with them. So if you have a boss who belongs to Kanya Rashi, it is very difficult because their standards will be very high. They will be perfect, and they want you to be perfect in every aspect. In all your work, they give a lot of importance to even the smallest detail, and they want perfection in everything. And always they're trying to improve things. Good is not perfect. Good is not enough for them. The word good is not enough. They want perfection. Very systematic, and they like planning, they like structure, they like order. They give a lot of importance to planning, efficient in managing work and routine things. They're very good in managing it. And they like to help people, and they find satisfaction when they are very useful to others. But their support will be silent. It will not be visible to the outside world. They always work in the backstage. They do not like to come in the limelight. Like how Simha Rashi is always in the limelight, these people, they don't want to be in the limelight. They like to work behind the scenes. So we can say very silent. They'll be observing, very observant. Just I'm again telling the example of a hall which is filled with people. If you see a person who is of a Kanya Rashi person, they'll be a bit silent. They'll not be visible. They'll be behind the scenes. So they'll not be visible to the people, but they'll be observing everybody. Silently, they'll be observing everyone. So here, Mercury is more matured. In Mithuna, it was more playful. Here, they are very much matured. Both Mithuna Rashi and Kanya Rashi are owned by Mercury. But there, Mercury gave the playful nature. Mithuna Rashi. Here, they are much more matured because this is a earthy sign. That was a airy sign. This was a earthy sign. So here they are very much matured, practical, and they like things to be spick and span, tidy, clean, perfect. For example, even when they're dressing, if it's a Mithuna Rashi person, they'll not be much bothered about how they dress. They'll just wear some shirt and some pant and they'll just go. Even in their nightwear, they'll be ready to go out. But it's not the case with Kanya Rashi. Even if they want to step out of the house, even for the smallest of the errands, they'll wear fresh clothes, neatly ironed. And if they're wearing a shirt, they'll neatly tuck it in, very well presented, always. And but since they are so very intent on perfection, there's a kind of a stressed look on their face always. They'll always be stressed. There'll be a frown on their face. They're very health conscious, give lot of attention to their bodies. And if you see their face, they'll have prominent cheekbones. Physically, very fit. They look young. Usually, they'll be having a oval shaped face, slim face they'll be having. They look very young, that is one of the characteristics of Kanya Rashi. Even if they're senior citizens, they don't look their age. They look very young because of Mercury, Kanya Rashi. And 1 second, please. So very feminine look, gentle. The way they dress also, it will not be very extreme kind of dressing. It will be neat and clean. If you see the dressing style of Simha Rashi, they'll be very flamboyant. Immediately it will attract attention. But these people, the way they dress, they'll not attract anybody's attention. They always want to be in the shadows, in the background. They don't want to come in the foreground. And they like that low profile kind of thing. The way they dress, the way they talk, walk, it will be in a manner that they don't want to attract attention. They are reserved and conservative in nature. Whereas Mithuna Rashi, they were very extrovert. Here, these people are reserved and they look younger than their age. These people, even if they want to take a risk, they'll do a lot of analysis, calculated risk. They'll just not jump into new ventures. Everything will be analyzed. A lot of calculations will be done. Only after that, they will proceed. And they like research, they like calculations. One thing about these people are they adapt to situations, and also they're very good in teamwork. They'll cooperate with others. They're not very much intent on competition. They like to cooperate with people. And even these people talk a lot. But before they start a conversation, they will gauge the person to whom they're talking. If they find that that person is really worth, if they like that person, only then they'll open up and they'll talk. Whereas Mithuna Rashi person, they don't even analyze an individual. They'll talk to each and every individual. But here, before talking, they observe you. And only if they find you likable, then they will talk. And if they talk a lot. And they have a knowledge about varied topics. So they can talk about different topics. And their voice is very soft and sweet. Uh, because of their sweet and soft voice, and even their face looks very young and very innocent kind of face. Even if they tell lies, people will believe them very easily. So very perfectionist, they give attention to detail, but at the same time, critics means fault finders. They are good in fault finding. Critics, anything you do, they'll find faults. But themselves, they are very well organized. And career wise, they don't want to be they're not crazy about spotlight. You'll find them working tirelessly behind the scenes, taking on new projects and offering to help others. That is the nature of Kanya Rashi. They have a lot of discipline, precision, accuracy, strong analytical skills, problem solving ability. If you give them some problem, they can analyze it very well and they can solve it. But one of the challenges that they face is overthinking, because their minds are so active, they keep on analyzing constantly. That creates stress or anxiety. That's why I said their face always looks stressed. And sometimes they are very critical, just not about others, about themselves also. They're very critical. So they find it difficult to relax, and they always have a fear of making mistakes. See, Kanya Rashi is a virgin lady, a girl. So that virgin girl always thinks about the society, what others will think. If I do this, what others will think. That is the kind of mentality which a Kanya Rashi person has. They give a lot of importance to the society, so they'll always be scared of making mistakes. They'll always give importance to other person's opinions. So they have got a very sensitive nervous system and mental exhaustion. Because of their perfectionist nature, mental exhaustion can happen. They're not very expressive about their emotions, and they love they like to do service. That is one thing. So if you see their thinking style, very logical, analytical and structured. They can, they're good in problem solving. If you give them a problem, you can just they have the capacity to break down that problem to smaller units, see what is the exact root cause of that problem, and they can fix that problem. That is their capacity. They're always focused on improvement and efficiency. And here, if you see the Kala Purusha's body part, it is the digestive system and the intestine. So this is the reason that they are very interested in diet, health conscious, and if they are stressed, there'll be an issue with their digestion. They'll have digestive problems if they're stressed. So they should learn to relax. So we can say they work quietly, focus on perfection, and they have the capacity to turn something ordinary into something precise and valuable. So this energy of Kanya Rashi is all about analyzing, improving things, perfection, and neatness, cleanliness, all other things. So this is about Kanya Rashi. So each of the Rashis, if you just try to revise, each of the Rashis have got different characteristics. Mesha was about energy and instant reactions, overreactive. I mean, they react immediately, impulsive, I can say. Vrishaba, if you say, hardworking and very practical in nature. Mithuna is about multitasking, intelligence, extrovert. Karkataka is all about caring, nurturing, sensitive. emotional, all about that. And if it is Simha, it is about confidence, leadership quality, respect, generosity. Kanya is all about analytical skills, perfection, practical, at the same time being critic, giving a lot of importance for cleanliness, structures, orderliness, discipline, calculation. Intelligence is used for analyzing things over here. So this is the nature of each of the Rashis. So we have come to the end of the session. The remaining 6 Rashis characteristics I'll tell in the next session. So as usual, before ending the session, I'll be talking about, I'll be giving you a tip. So coming to the tip of the day, yeah, these are some of the books in case you want to refer any of the books. There are classical books in astrology. Classical books means ancient texts, which are the foundation for modern astrology. Like Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra. Parashara is the father of astrology. So these are the ancient texts. And Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra is written by Maharishi Parashara. Brihat Jataka by Varaha Mihira. Sarvartha Chintamani by Venkatesha Daivagna, Jataka Parijata, Vaidyanath, Saravali by Kalyana Varma, Phaladipaka, Mantreshwara, Uttara Kalamrita by Kalidasa. So these are the classical books that act as a foundation of astrology. Very, very important. Like we can say, they are the encyclopedia of astrology, we can say. But for now, it is not necessary for you to buy these books. After attending my sessions, in case you require more references, you can refer to any of these classical books. And then you also have modern astrologers like Hindu Predictive Astrology by B.V. Raman, who is very, very popular in astrological cycles, astrology circles. How to Judge a Horoscope by B.V. Raman. Vedic Astrology with Roots, another very good book by Dr. S. Krishna Kumar. And I was fortunate to learn from this great master. He's no more, Dr. Krishna Kumar. Analyzing horoscopes through modern techniques, M.S. Mehta. These are some of the modern authors who have done very good work in astrology. Coming to the tip of the day, see, we always want to create positive energy in the house as well as in our bodies. It's very important because only when there is positive energy around us, we feel happy, we feel satisfied, we feel calm, peaceful. If you are surrounded by negative energy, there'll be a lot of stress, pressure, health issues, a lot of fights. So how can you create positive energy? It's always there in your hands. You can always create positive energy. How is it possible to create positive energy in your house? It's very simple. You mop your house every day, right? So you can just add a handful of rock salt in a bucket of water, and with that water, you mop the house. If it is not possible to mop it in the salt water every day, at least on Tuesdays and Fridays, you make it a practice to mop the house with salt water, because salt has that special capacity, it can absorb all the negative energy. So that is the specialty of salt. So you have to use rock salt, kalluppu, not the table salt. That is one way. And how do you cleanse the negative energy that is surrounding you? You go to so many places, you meet so many people, and it's all these energies are, kind of vibrations. Your body can get aligned with different kind of energies. So if you want to remove the negative energy that is in your aura, what you can do is you can add a handful of rock salt in a bucket of water, and with that water, you take bath on Mondays. This will remove the negative energy from your body. Okay. So we have come to the end of the session. I hope you found the session interesting.
హలో
One
మేడం, నమస్తే మేడం.
Yes, 1 second, please.
ఓకే మేడం.
Yeah.
నమస్తే మేడం. యాజ్ యూజువల్ మీ సెషన్ చాలా బాగా జరుగుతా ఉంది.
Thanks.
బాగా చేస్తారు, బాగా ఖుషి అవుతుంది. సింపుల్ గా నీట్ గా అన్ని చెప్తున్నారు. నాకు ఒక స్మాల్ డౌట్ ఏమంటే, మేషరాశిది క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్ చెప్పేటప్పుడు మీరు చేంజ్ అంట రాసింటారు. అట్లా అంటే మీనింగ్ ఏమైనా కావాలా? చేంజ్
Change అంటే కన్నా they always want change in everything in life. They don't want to be stuck with one single thing. వాళ్ళకి ఒకే రొటీన్ ఉంటే ఇష్టమయ్యేలా, చేంజ్ కావాలా. వాళ్ళ వర్క్ అట్మాస్ఫియర్ లో కానీ వాళ్ళ ఇంట్లో కానీ ఏమో ఒక చేంజెస్ అవుతా ఉండాల. దెన్ దట్ విల్ మేక్ దెమ్ వెరీ హ్యాపీ.
ఓకే ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్.
ఓకే.
హలో.
యా
మేడం, నా పేరు సవిత.
చెప్పండి మేడం.
మేడం, అగైన్ నాది అదే క్వశ్చన్. మేషరాశిదే, నా కొడుకు మేషరాశినే.
ఓకే.
చాలా ఓవర్ యాక్టివ్, ఓవర్ కాన్ఫిడెంట్, స్టబర్న్. అదే మీరు చెప్పొచ్చు కదా చేంజ్ చేస్తా ఉండాలి అనేసి. వాన్ చేంజెస్ కి మా చేతిలో అయ్యలేదు మేడం. మేము పొందుకొనే కైతాలేదు మా చేతిలో.
మీరు వాళ్ళ ఎనర్జీని ఛానలైజ్ చేయాలా. యూ హ్యావ్ టు వాళ్ళకి ఒక జిమ్ కంపించేదో లేక ఫిజికల్ యాక్టివిటీ ఎట్లా వాళ్ళ ఎనర్జీని కంట్రోల్ చేయాలా అంటే, when you do lot of physical activity, their energy is channelized. So you make them do some kind of physical work. You put them in some athletic activities or gym కంపించండి, ఏదో ఫిజికల్ యాక్టివిటీ.
మేడం, వాడు బాస్కెట్ బాల్ పోతా ఉండే ఇన్నాళ్ళును. కాలు కొంచెం ఫ్రాక్చర్ అయ్యి వచ్చింది, దానికి పోతాలేదు ఇప్పుడు.
అదే మేషరాశి వాళ్ళకి అది దట్స్ వెరీ కామన్. నేను చెప్తున్నాను కదా, బ్రేకింగ్ ఆఫ్ బోన్స్, కట్స్ అయ్యేది, సర్జరీస్ అయ్యేది, అవంతా కొంచెం దట్ ఈస్ ద నేచర్ ఆఫ్ దట్ రాశి.
మేడం, ఎట్లు కంట్రోల్ చేయాలి? ఏమన్నా ఒక టిప్ చెప్పండి మేడం ప్లీజ్. అయితలేదు.
ఇట్ ఈస్ దర్ నేచర్, యూ హ్యావ్ టు యాక్సెప్ట్ ఇట్. there's no way you can change it. ఇది నేను basically I'm telling about the nature so that you can accept things better. That is the nature. You have understood that is the nature of Mesha Rashi. So and you had to give them some physical activity which keeps them occupied. That's the only way. దాన్ని ఇప్పుడు ఒక నదికి ఒక దారి చేస్తే అది పోతుంది. దానికి నదికి ఆ తొట్టు రివర్ బ్యాంకే లేకుండా అంటే ఫ్లడ్డింగ్ అయిపోతుంది. ఆ తర్వాత వాళ్ళ ఎనర్జీ అట్లా ఉంటుంది. యాదో ఒక యాక్టివిటీ చూసి వాళ్ళ ఎనర్జీని ఆడ ఛానలైజ్ చేయాల.
నమస్తే మేడం.
నమస్తే మేడం.
ఎస్,
నా పేరు రాఘవేంద్ర, రాయదుర్గ నుంచి మాట్లాడుతున్నాను మేడం.
చెప్పండి సార్. నమస్తే.
నమస్తే. ఇప్పుడు కన్యారాశి గురించి చెప్పారు.
అవును.
నాకు మేనల్లుడు అన్న కూతురు ఇద్దరు ఉన్నారు కన్యారాశిలో.
ఓకే ఓకే.
మేషరాశి వచ్చి మేనల్లుడికి ఎక్కువ పర్సెంటేజ్ సిమ్టమ్స్ కనబడుతున్నాయి. సారీ, కన్యారాశి నుంచి మేనల్లుడికి.
ఓకే.
బట్ అన్న కూతురికి 90% టాలీ కావట్లేదు.
ఓకే. ఇది బేసిక్ నేచర్. ఆమ్టికి పోతా నెక్స్ట్ సెషన్స్ లో మనం ప్లానెట్స్ ని చూస్తాం. ఆ ప్లానెట్స్ ఇంకా తిరిగి క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ చేంజ్ అవుతుంది. సో ఇది ఒక బ్లాంక్ పేపర్ మాదిరిగి. ఫస్ట్ రాశి, ఒక్కొక్క రాశి క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్, దాంట్లో తిరిగి మనము గ్రహాలను యాడ్ చేస్తాం, తిరిగి దానిలో క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ చేంజ్ అవుతుంది. సో ఆ తర బేసిక్ క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, can I start, madam, now? This is. I have a quick question.
Yes,
that
please.
when the ascendant and Rashi are in the same house, meaning that Moon is also in that ascendant house, what are the implications?
See, Lagna, ascendant, always indicates the physical characteristics. Rashi indicates the mental characteristics. When I was talking about the characteristics of the planets, I have spoken about both. Physically, if a person belongs to Simha Rashi, how he'll be, they'll have a broad shoulders, slim waist, broad forehead. So if the Lagna happens to be Simha Lagna, you have to take that into consideration. But if the Rashi happens to be Simha Rashi, the mentality, they'll be very confident, they'll be egoistic, they'll give a lot of importance to respect, they will lead, they'll be natural leaders, authoritative, dominating, like that. For every Rashi, I'm talking about the physical characteristics as well as the mental characteristics. If that Rashi is your Janma Rashi, take the mental characteristics. If that Rashi is your Janma Lagna, take the physical characteristics. Because each of the Rashis, I mean, Lagna might be some Rashi and this one.
But provided if both of them are same.
Then you have to take the same. You have to take the physical characteristics of that Rashi and the mental characteristics of that Rashi itself.
Right. For example, you gave Simha. Sorry, madam, I'm taking your time.
No
For
issues.
you, example, you gave Simha. Simha's physical characteristics are way different from the Simha's emotional characteristics, right?
Yes.
So that you have to combine it together. And
Yes.
you just mentioned it in the other question that you are going to go into detail about each of the planets of how they impact. Whether it is the it is the Lord, the planet is the Lord of the house, and so on and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Janma Lagna is the physical characteristics. Janma Rashi is the mental characteristics. For example, as you told about Simha Rashi and Simha Lagna, the person will be having the nature of confidence, authoritative, dominating characteristics. At the same time, his body will be sleek, broad-shouldered. He'll have a broad face, and his hair, he'll give a lot of importance to his hair. The way he walks, he'll walk like a lion or like a king. And these will be the basic characteristics. But again, when you are going to the next layer where planets will be placed, they'll again influence. See, if you are doing
Got
some
it.
kind of painting,
Right.
you first paint the background, right? You have painted some color. You can see only that color. After that, you paint another color on that. It will give a different look, right? In the same way, to begin with, we are just telling about the characteristics of the Rashi. Each different session, you'll be adding more and more layers, which will give you a complete picture at the end of the course.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much, madam.
Welcome.
Ma'am, good evening, ma'am.
Yes,
My
good evening.
only question is, when you are going to look at the Rashis, that is different in if you go according to zodiac signs, it will be like a different Rashis. But according to our calendar, birth calendar, it will be different. Which one do you consider? Like if it is a Scorpio, it is
What do
different.
you mean by birth calendar, ma?
Like when we look into our horoscope, it will be like when we consider it as a
See,
for
the horoscope.
example,
Yeah, please tell.
if it is Kataka, it is sorry, if it is Kanya, it is Virgo, what you told. But when you look into the calendar, like English calendar, it is a different.
You're talking about the English calendar. Yeah. See,
Yes,
that's different. That is Western astrology. Here I'm talking about Vedic astrology. Here we give importance to the placement of moon. Whereas in Western astrology, they give importance to the placement of the sun. That's why it is known as sun signs. Sun sign depends upon the month in which you are born. Here, it depends upon the placement of moon. Wherever, in whichever Rashi the moon is posited, we call that as Janma Rashi. So, in Vedic astrology, Janma Rashi is giving importance to the placement of moon. Western astrology is different. It gives importance to the placement of sun.
Okay. But will it be similar or it will be totally different?
The whole perception or the way of looking at things will be different. It might be similar in some ways, but again, the perspective will be different. They look at the chart in a different way. We look at it in a different way.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Good evening, madam. Good evening, madam.
Good evening, ma.
Good evening, madam. I'm Nivedita from Hyderabad.
Yes, ma.
Just now you told about the tips, cleaning the house with salt. We find, as per Hindus, we find salt to be very auspicious, like Lakshmi. Can we do that, cleaning the house, flooring and all? Can we do that?
Auspicious endukante because it has got the capacity to absorb the negativity. ఇప్పుడు దృష్టి తీస్తారు ఏమిటో దృష్టి తీస్తారు ఉప్పుతోనే ఇట్లా అంటారు అంటే ఇట్ ఈస్ క్లెన్సింగ్ యువర్ ఆరా. See, all our bodies have an aura, that is an energy field. Whenever you are feeling low, దిష్టి తీస్తారు ఇట్లా అంటారు. అంటే ఏమైతుంది మన చుట్టూ ఉండే ఆ నెగటివిటీని ఆ సాల్ట్ అబ్జర్వ్ చేసుకునేస్తుంది. సో సాల్ట్ హ్యాస్ గాట్ దట్ మచ్ ఆఫ్ capacity or ability. So in the same way, when we mop our whole house with salt water, యాడాడ ఏమేమి నెగటివిటీ ఉందో దాంట్లో అబ్జర్వ్ చేసుకునేస్తుంది అది.
And one more question, madam. If we are disposing our old clothes, we are donating to somebody else. Because of our aura, those clothes will be holding the aura of our body, right?
Yes.
So how do we donate them, madam? Because they will be our aura.
You should, before donating your clothes, you should always wash it in salt water. And then
salt water dip and then take it out, or after dipping also?
You first wash it properly then dip it in the salt water, squeeze it, dry it, and then you have to do it.
Just like that, without washing again.
You can
Without
wash it.
dipping
No
in
issues.
fresh
You can
water
wash it.
again.
You can wash it. You can wash it, ma. You had to wash it basically in salt water. That's what I mean to say.
Yes, madam. After dipping into the salt water,
Yes,
then again fresh water we have to dip them.
Yes.
Fresh water
Hello,
also we
namaste,
have to
ma'am.
dip them and then dry them, right?
Yes, ma. Yes. You're right.
And one more question. My son is born on 23rd July. So that is a cusp, right? So how will it be like Janma Nakshatram as per the Janma
Here,
Navam?
don't see, the Western astrology is completely different. Here, whichever day you're born, just see where moon is posited in your horoscope. That becomes your Janma Rashi. That's all.
Okay. As per our Hindu, this thing that is Vrishchika. But
That
as we
take
go for the Western one, it comes to Simha again.
Don't confuse. Just take wherever moon is posted as the Janma Rashi. That's all.
Okay. Thank you very much, madam. I appreciate
Namaste,
your
madam.
lecture.
Namaste.
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 Actually, related to the same question, salt water. If the lady is pregnant, almost 8 months like that, then also we can do with salt water, take bath in salt water. No.
Yeah, you can take bath. That has got nothing to do with pregnancy. You can. It just cleanses the negative energy. That's all.
Okay.
Just you'll be taking a handful of salt, putting it in the bath water, and in that water you take the bath. Not head bath, just bath.
Just bath. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Madam, today we discussed a lot of Rashis and the traits which each of these Rashis have.
Yeah.
I have observed that the sun sign Rashi and the moon sign Rashi, some of these traits are coming to be common, even though the Rashi is different. The Rashi is different and the zodiac is different, but the traits which you discussed, they are coming a lot similar.
I could not understand the question.
For example, the Rashi is Simha, but at the same time, the zodiac is Taurus. So the traits of Taurus and the Rashi.
You're getting confused with our Rashi and the sun signs of the Western astrology. Don't mix up both. Just see the placement of moon and go with it. That's all.
Okay.
Namaste, madam.
Namaste.
Amukta Malina from Chennai, madam.
Okay, you're from Chennai. Nice, ma. Yes, please go ahead.
Madam, I've got two questions. While calculating the classification of the Rashis, we have included Lagna also as one of the planets.
Yes. Correct.
May I know the reason, madam?
Sometimes what happens, there'll be confusion. In each of the classifications, there'll be three planets. You'll not be able to decide. Then take Lagna also. It will give a better understanding.
Okay. And then second one is in Simha Rashi, you have what is the part of the body which is affecting?
Simha Rashi, the part is, it is the stomach.
So they may have some stomach disorders.
Yes.
Okay, madam. Thank you, madam.
Welcome. Yes. 10 more minutes. Any questions? Please ask. You had to unmute yourself to ask.
Madam, namaste.
Namaste, sir.
Madam, I'm from Karnataka, madam.
Yes, sir.
Class is excellent, madam. Thank you very much, madam.
Welcome, sir.
Madam, my doubt is Mesha Rashi means Mesha Rashi characteristics.
Yes.
That Mesha Rashi Adipati Kuja. Kuja also same characters and Rashi characters also same, no, madam?
Yes.
But when coming to Kuja having two Rashis, Mesha and Vrishchika. But some characters are different.
It will be different. Why? Because see, Mesha is a fiery tattva. Vrishchika is a watery tattva. So Mars, Kuja is also fire. Fire and fire, when they come together, that intensifies the fire. That is the energy. Whereas you take water and you put it in water, what will happen? The fire will go off. That doesn't mean the fire is not there. Even in Vrishchika Rashi, that energy is there, but it will not be visible to the outside world. In the next session, when I talk about the remaining 6 Rashis, you'll understand it.
Thank you.
Yeah. The Rashi also have a role in the characteristic of the individual.
Namaste, ma'am.
Namaste, ma.
Can you once again explain about Lagna, how to identify Lagna?
See, Lagna identification, there are a lot of calculations if you had to do it manually. But
Okay.
I have talked about there are different apps by which you can create your horoscope. If you just feed in your birth details, you'll get the app. And in that, when you look at the horoscope, there'll be two lines which signify that that Rashi is your Lagna Rashi. If you're talking about how Lagna is, means at the time of your birth, the Rashi which rises in the eastern horizon is your Lagna Rashi. Just like how the sun rises in the east, in the same way, every 2 hours, there'll be one Rashi which is rising in the east. So if you happen to be born at a particular time and one Rashi is rising over there, that becomes your Lagna.
Okay, so the day you told should be
Day,
divided.
time, and place. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Every 2 hours, the Rashi, the Lagna will change.
From how how to calculate
See,
from
that
night
calculations,
12 o'clock? Like,
see, every 2 hours it will change. For example, if Mesha Rashi has started in the morning 6 o'clock, if you keep
okay,
on adding 2 to 2 hours, night, some Rashi will come. Because 24 hours are taken into consideration.
okay, ma'am.
Each 2 hours, a different Rashi will be coming as Lagna.
Oh,
Ma'am,
okay.
I'm
Suppose
Harita.
one day, suppose if you consider today, how for the whole day they will specify that this is the
No, no,
Lagna.
no. Sunrise time is taken into consideration. The date is taken into consideration. The time of your birth is taken into consideration. The place, longitude, and latitude is taken into consideration. So there are a lot of mathematical calculation to identify your Janma Lagna. To teach
Okay.
mathematical calculations, I mean, everybody may not be that very comfortable learning mathematical calculation. That's why I have made it easy. I have told you just feed in your details in the app. You'll get the horoscope. In that, clearly it will be specified what is your Lagna. So you can just
Okay,
look at that. You don't have to go into the mathematical calculation part of it.
okay, ma'am. Ma'am, I forgot which app it is.
I want to
Can you
speak,
say
ma'am.
which app?
Divya
Ma'am?
Chakshu.
Ma'am,
Divya
Ma'am?
Chakshu, ma. Yes, ma.
Ma'am.
Ma'am,
Thank you, ma'am.
let up finish, ma'am.
Last time you had told for Tula that is lucky color is black color, but some people had advised me to not to wear black.
See, again, it depends upon your individual horoscope. What I have told is in general, ma. General for each of the Rashis, some colors are given as lucky colors. But again, depending upon the placement of planets in that particular horoscope, they would have suggested you not to wear that color. That's all.
Thank you.
Ma'am, I'm Harita. I have a question.
Yes, ma. Yes, ma.
My husband is born on February 7th, one night to 1:56 after 12 o'clock. So in the date we have to give Feb 8th or Feb 7th.
In the app, if you're feeding the birth details, what is the date that you said?
Feb 7th he is born. Feb 7th night.
So you have to write it as early morning of 8th February.
Okay.
So
I was thinking after 4 only we have to consider the next date.
No. See, English date by 12 o'clock, that date gets over.
Okay.
It's 1:57 morning he's born of 8th February. That is how you have to feed in the details.
Okay. Then 8th February 1:57.
Yes, ma'am. You're right.
And one more thing, ma'am, I have given in Divya Chakshu app. Then they were saying V1, V9. What is that? V1?
There are different charts. The basic chart is D1. They're all advanced topics. So first you had to learn D1 to understand other things. So at this level,
V1 it is
D1. Instead of writing it as D1, they have written it as V1. It's the same.
Okay. So D1 only we have to see.
Yeah. Yes.
And in that, ma'am, so all this KE means K2 like that only, ma'am. Jupiter. ME means Mercury.
Yes, correct, ma'am. Correct. The first 2 letters of the planet will be written because the whole name cannot be written. Only the first 2 letters will be written.
So we have to see this V1 Rashi chart.
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Namaste, ma'am.
Namaste, ma'am.
Ma'am, I'm from Bangalore. My name is Asha.
Okay.
As you told the Mesha Rashi, all the gunas I have, same thing.
Very
I
nice.
can't be in one, always stick to one. But I want to achieve means I will do that. That
Yes.
is all gunas are there.
Okay.
Sometimes when it comes to finance or the business wise, once if we come down, no, it's very difficult to come up. I was into all artistic and tuitions in when I was in 10th till my marriage. So I was into those things only, artistic, making fur toys and all. What is
Okay.
the trendy, that only I'll follow.
Okay.
Coming things. Otherwise, I'll create a trendy things.
Yes, that's the
Then,
nature of Mesha.
yeah. And after my marriage, I was passionate about the food, and my husband is very good foodie. So according to him, I started learning the food items, and I did the institute, and I gave TV shows, everything, craft items, everything, and that was done. Now
Okay.
I have started with the acupressure and acupuncture.
Oh, very nice.
Healthy things, because according to our age group, I select the things what is needed to our things.
Okay.
So once if I come down, no, I can't come up again.
Yeah.
But I won't leave. I can't come up. What is that? అంటే ఏం నన్ను తడుస్తా ఉంది అనేసి నాకు అర్థమైతలే.
It is just your mentality. If you make up your mind, again you can do it.
Okay. Okay.
Because Mars, the energy of Mars, you cannot restrain it, you cannot stop it. It's like wildfire, fire, Mesha Rashi. So it is just your mind is limiting you. If you just remove that blockage, you can just excel.
And my date of birth is 14. So
Okay.
according to that also 5 number I get, and always I be in a front. Leadership qualities, everything I go front. And whatever I want to do it, I'll do it. It comes, this also comes. But sometimes ఏం బ్లాకేజ్ అనేది గొత్తైతలే.
మెంటాలిటీనే మిమ్మల్ని బ్లాక్
ఎనర్జెటిక్ ఛానల్స్ రిలీజ్ చేయాలి.
ఆ మైండ్ లోనే ఏమో బ్లాకేజ్ ఉంది, దాన్ని తీసేస్తే మిమ్మల్ని ఆపేవాళ్ళు ఎవరు లేరు.
ఓకే. మెడిటేషన్ ఆ టైప్ చేసి తీయాలనా, లేకుంటే ఎనీ ఫిజికల్
మెడిటేషన్ చేయండి, దట్ విల్ కామ్ యూ, దెన్ దట్ విల్ గివ్ యూ క్లారిటీ.
Thank you so much. Very nice, ma'am. I heard everything like, let me go like this only. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Namaskaram, ma'am.
Namaste, madam.
Shanthi
Namaste.
here from Bangalore.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, again, today's class was really awesome.
Thank you, ma'am.
When you were describing the characteristics, I was thinking about all the family members and I was trying to relate, especially Simha Rashi. It's my husband's Rashi. So
Okay.
when you told, that they're easily hurt, and then you said, praise them to win. Now I have a good way to win his heart.
Yeah, you have a tool.
I have a tool. 20 years late, but it's okay. At least now, better late than never.
Yes.
So thanks, ma'am. Thank you so much. I was looking at this Divya Chakshu app that you asked. There's something called Mandi, ma'am. For now.
Mandi. But for now, you don't have to worry about that.
Worry
That's
about
advanced concept. Now, just take the 9 planets into consideration.
Just the 9 planets into consideration.
Those
Thank
are
you
for
so much.
advanced analysis.
Madam,
Okay,
namaste.
okay. Thank you so
Namaste.
much. Thank you.
Namaste, namaste, madam.
చెప్పండి. Yes, sir.
మీ క్లాస్ ఎక్సలెంట్ గా ఉంది.
థ్యాంక్ యూ, సార్.
ఇప్పుడు జన్మ లగ్నము జన్మ రాశి ఉంటున్నారే, సూర్యుడు మార్నింగ్ 6 కు ఉదయిస్తాడు అనుకోండి, ఎవ్రీ 2 hours కు రాశి చేంజ్ అవుతుంది కదా?
కరెక్ట్ సార్.
ఒక
సన్ రైజ్ టైమింగ్స్ చూసేసి సూర్యుని పట్టే వాళ్ళు లగ్న డిసైడ్ చేసింది. దానికంతా ఒక క్యాలిక్యులేషన్ ఉంది, మ్యాథమెటికల్ క్యాలిక్యులేషన్.
ఆ రాశిలో పుట్టిన వాడికి జన్మ లగ్నం కూడా అదేనా?
లేదు లేదు లేదు. లగ్న is dependent upon the moon, sun. Rashi is dependent upon the moon. So just not on the sun, the time you are born, the place you are born, the day on which you are born, that determines your lagna. So there are a lot of factors that are taken into consideration to calculate your lagna. A lot of mathematical calculations are there.
టెంటేటివ్ గా తీసుకునేదానికి లేదు. టెంటేటివ్ గా తీసుకునేదానికి లేదు.
There are a lot of calculations. సో అందుకోసమే ఆ క్యాలిక్యులేషన్స్ చెప్పలేదు, చాలా ఎలాబొరేట్ క్యాలిక్యులేషన్స్ ఉంది, యాప్ లో ఈజీగా దొరుకుతుంది. సో యూ కెన్
ఇదేం ఈజీనే. మూన్ ఎక్కడ ఉంటాడో అదే రాశి మంది, కానీ లగ్నం మాత్రం అంటే సూర్య
లగ్నం సన్ రైజ్ ని బట్టే చేసేది, బట్ అదర్ ఫ్యాక్టర్స్ ఆల్సో టేకెన్ ఇంటూ కన్సిడరేషన్.
It is not easy to tell Lagna
Yes.
immediately.
Yes. అందుకోసమే యాప్ లో చూడండి, డైరెక్ట్ గా మీకు దొరికేస్తుంది.
ఓకే మేడం.
ఓకే.
తర్వాత ఇంకొకటి, ఒక రాశిలో ఉన్న అతని క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్, ఆ రాశి ఇంకా 3-4 రాశుల క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ కూడా ఉండే అవకాశం ఉంది కదా?
అది ఎట్లయితుందంటే, ఇప్పుడు ఫస్ట్ ఒక లేయర్ నేను చెప్పినాను, నెక్స్ట్ గ్రహాల క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ చెప్తాను. అప్పుడు గ్రహాలకి రాశిది క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ మిక్స్ చేసినప్పుడు ఒక కొత్త క్యారెక్టర్ తెలుస్తుంది, లేకపోతే యాడ్ ఆన్ అవుతుంది, ఒక వేరియేషన్ అవుతుంది. దెర్ బి సమ్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ చేంజెస్. సో అప్పుడు మీకు తెలుస్తుంది. ఇప్పుడు బేసిక్ ఆడ గ్రహాలు లేదు, ఉత్త రాశి క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ చెప్తా ఉన్నాను. అందుకోసమే కొన్ని క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ మ్యాచ్ అవుతుంది, కొన్ని మ్యాచ్ కాకపోవచ్చు. గ్రహాలని చేర్చినప్పుడు అప్పుడు కంప్లీట్ పిక్చర్ వస్తుంది.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ మేడం.
ఓకే సార్.
నమస్కారం అమ్మా, నా పేరు వినోద్, నేను బెంగళూరు నుంచి మాట్లాడుతున్నాను.
నమస్కారం సార్. ఎస్ సార్.
అది ఇప్పుడు జన్మ చంద్రుడు ఉన్న చోటే దాన్ని తీసుకోమన్నారు కదండి. అలాగే లగ్నానికి మీరు అన్నట్టు ఇప్పుడు నాకు అర్థమైంది, క్యాలిక్యులేషన్స్ బోర్డు ఉంటాయి, అందులో పెడితే వస్తుంది అన్నారు.
కరెక్ట్ సార్.
నేను ఐ కంటిన్యూ విత్ దట్.
ఓకే సార్.
అండ్ థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్. యువర్ ఈ క్లాస్ చాలా బాగుందమ్మా, చాలా బాగుంది.
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
ఇది కాదండి.
Okay. We have come to the end of the session. Anyone else wants to ask a question? I'll be ending the session. I think we are done with the questions.
Yes, ma'am. Do you want me to end class?
Yes, ma. Yes, ma. Soumya.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you all. Have a happy weekend. See you all next week, Thursday. Keep revising, understanding, it will help you. If you just go through the PDF every day, you'll be able to understand things better.